one of the driest countries on Earth. In the Öresund region, at the foot of the Greater Waterberg, 250 kilometers northeast of Windhoek, lies in the middle of the thornbush savanna Oka Carrara, a small town with about 4,000 inhabitants. Due to increasing land use, the region is exposed to a high land use pressure. The consequences of global climate change, for example reduced rainfall, greater rainfall variability or the rise in average temperature, have negative impact on the region. Population growth of 50% between 1992 and 2012, accelerated degradation of ecosystems, and a rural population of more than 50% require appropriate management strategies that counteract desertification tipping points. Tipping points are one or more events, such as drought and heavy land use, that causes an ecosystem to tip over into an irreversible state of degradation. But where, and especially when, do tipping points occur exactly? This is what NamTip, a German-Namibian research community with a socio-ecological focus, wants to find out. The project consortium, headed by Anja Lindstetter from the University of Cologne, brings together scientists from German and Namibian universities and research institutions with various expertise in social and environmental science. During a meeting in Windhoek in September 2017, the first foundations for a common project understanding were laid. Among other activities, a stakeholder workshop was organized with the aim of building relationships and networks also in the non-scientific area.
A very warm welcome to you all here today to the stakeholder workshop of the NamTip project. My name is Anja Lindstetter. I'm the project head of NamTip.
The workshop included representatives from politics, non-scientific organizations, as well as regional stakeholders. Another aim of the workshop was to obtain feedback and suggestions from the stakeholders in direct discussions, but above all, to explore intersections for stakeholders and scientists working together in the project. However, the German and Namibian scientists not only wanted to integrate further potential partners in the project, but also to carry out a reality check on site in the planned research area. For this purpose, a 6-day field stay in the Waterberg region was planned and carried out. The aim of the excursion was to get to know the study area more closely and to hold initial discussions with regional authorities and local farmers, thus making the project known in the Waterberg region. According to current forecasts, average temperatures due to climate change will rise by 1 to 4 degrees Celsius by the year 2065. The rainy season is expected to be shorter and the dry period correspondingly longer. With a simultaneous increase in land use pressure by the growing population, this can have serious effects on the ecosystem and thus the livelihood of the people. The NamTip team has developed different approaches to explore tipping points.
There is no fence.
Yeah, sure.
So the people, they get it from Okakara Funugwas, they can just crossbreed.
What do you think? What could it be?
So people from other communities use this one.
Kilo and a half left of your grazing area, then you have got corridors where the livestock then are moving.
But that would be a nice place to test that.
Yes. Now you didn't use it, but you overgraze it during the period of that one. You don't want to have livestock losses.
That is an area that is half fenced off. I don't know whether they finished it now.
I thought it's like this, so that that is a water point, and then the bull come just around the water point, like this.
Yeah, and then there are only small corridors.
There are only small corridors, and this is where the cattle have to go outside, and this becomes degraded. On the communal area is just further outside.
Immediately, don't say because of the fences, now all of a sudden there's grass. Fences are good, huh? This is very far from the water. What we have here is a private pipeline. All the way we traveled now until we reached this last house was the official pipeline of government, huh? Where people were resettled in the 80s. But then the farmers wanted to extend water further east, so they connected to that pipeline. And they put up their own pipelines to be able to get further east. But the problem is that these pipelines, it's privately owned, not very well maintained. There's a lot of leakage taking place. And now by extending it, the pressure is not enough to take the water very far.
The basic approach is to directly compare commercial and communal land use systems.
So if we would, for example, make an artificial experimental drought on this side of the fence, and we would do the same on this side of the fence. I assume that there might be some perennials left.
Extreme climatic events, such as droughts, together with severe disturbances, such as overgrazing by cattle, are often triggers for drylands to be driven beyond the desertification tipping point. One consequence might be the complete loss of perennial grass cover, which is an important component of the savanna ecosystem. Despite sufficient theoretical evidence that ecosystems can exhibit alternative stable states, it is still difficult to identify indicators for these state changes in real systems and to predict the temporal occurrence of tipping points. A promising approach to identify tipping points today is to look at historical socio-ecological data in a retrospective analysis. Therefore, information from historical databases and archives are analyzed. But also field experiments in communal and commercial areas with the varying degrees of grazing pressure and artificially induced droughts will help to analyze desertification tipping points more closely and will provide new insights. Likewise, soil processes can be indicative to tipping points. Since the soil is essential for plants and therefore also for perennial grasses, soil samples have been taken during the excursion on the future experimental sites and will be analyzed. However, not only field experiments will be carried out. The local population, that is, the communal and commercial farmers, will also be included in the project on the basis of a board game called NamTip, which deals with sustainable land use in drylands.
All these tiles here, they represent a piece of the rangeland, and we let you start with in a very good condition. So because all these dark green tiles, they represent perennial grass patches.
In order to maintain and disseminate the findings of the NamTip project in the long term, a learning module will be created together with a non-governmental organization EduVentures, which will be taught in the Umbombo, a mobile classroom for children and young adults.
As a member of EduVenture, I am an environmental educator for the project, and I actually came on this field trip so that I can learn more about tipping points, so that I know actually how to teach tipping points to the community of Namibia at large.
The NamTip project, with its wide array of different scientists from Namibia and Germany, offers a promising approach to exemplify, understand and counteract tipping points in Namibia. These findings can also help to protect and sustainably manage ecosystems in other drylands on Earth.